Hello, this is Huskins, your Forex mentor. I'm here with your daily review of March 6th. What an awesome day today in the markets. The Dow making new highs yet again, and the preview of March 7th. Your daily dose of events that shape the Forex markets. Your thought for the day. Once, all villagers decided to pray for rain. On the day of prayer, all the people gathered, but only one boy came with an umbrella. Now that's what you call faith. Believe in your prayers, your faith. Okay, so let's look at the news which affected the forex markets over the last 24 hours. Public spending drives Aussie growth. Australian economy grew about 0.6% last quarter as government investment and exports increased, taking growth for the year to 3.1%. Economists expected the economy to grow by about 0.6% in December quarter and 3% for the entire year of 2012. The annual growth rate was highest since 2007. So the market gave them what gave the economists what they were expecting, and it grew at 0.1% higher than what they were expecting. Not a big deal. Now, in terms of GDP, it increased to 0.6 in December. The gross value added per hour worked in the market sector increased 0.5%, and the terms of trade fell 2.9%. Let's look at other important news. Now, Bank of Canada maintains its overnight rate. Now, we had a trade based on this particular um, event, and I'd want to go through this press release which the Bank of Canada, released today at 10 a.m. This is what they said. The global economic outlook is broadly consistent with the bank's projection in its January monetary policy report. Global financial conditions remain stimulative despite recent volatility. In the United States, the economic expansion is continuing at a gradual pace and private sector demand is gaining momentum. Fiscal drag in the United States over the next 2 years remains consistent with the bank's January projection, although it is likely to be more front loaded as the result of sequestration cuts. The recession in Europe continues. Growth in China has improved while economic activity in some other major emerging economies is expected to benefit from policy stimulus. Commodity prices have remained at historically elevated levels, although persistent transportation bottlenecks are leading to continued discounts for Canadian heavy crude oil. Canada's economy grew by 0.6% at annual rates in the fourth quarter of 2012, with solid growth across most domestic components of GDP, offset by a sharp reduction in the pace of inventory investment. The bank expects growth in Canada to pick up through 2013, supported by modest growth in household spending combined with a recovery in exports and solid business investments. With a more conservative evolution of imbalances in the household sector, residential investments is expected to decline further from historically high levels. The bank expects trend growth in household credit to moderate further, with the debt to income ratio stabilizing near current levels. Now, despite expected recovery in exports, they are likely to remain below the pre recession peak until the second half of 2014, owing to restrained foreign demand and ongoing competitiveness challenges, including the persistent strength of the Canadian dollar. Now, you need to Bear in mind, including the persistent strength in the Canadian dollar. Now, another very important point. Total CPI inflation has been somewhat more subdued than projected. It means that they're not going to increase interest rates. As a result of weaker core inflation and lower mortgage interest costs, which were only partially offset by higher gasoline prices. Low core inflation reflects muted price pressures across a wide range of goods and services, consistent with material excess capacity in the economy. Core and total CPI inflation are expected to remain low in the near term before rising gradually to reach 2% over the projection horizon as the economy returns to full capacity and inflation expectations remain well anchored. Reflecting all these factors, the bank has decided to maintain its target for its overnight rate at 1%. With continued slack in the Canadian economy, the muted outlook for inflation, and the more conservative, constructive evolution of imbalances in the household sector, the considerable monetary policy stimulus currently in place will likely remain appropriate for a period of time, after which some modest withdrawal will likely be required, consistent with achieving a 2% targeted inflation. So what do you understand from this is um, the Bank of Canada is saying that the economy is going on the way it had already expected. So not a major, shock to the market, or it's not that they were looking at something and now they want to change their outlook. That's not the case. And 2% inflation is what they're looking at. So till we get 2% inflation, they're not going to increase the rates. So now I actually had a trade going on. Well, okay, I don't have my charts. Let me pull up a chart really. Okay, so this was our trade for today. We went short on the CAD at about the 1.3400 level, and by the end of the day, we were up about 10 pips. Nothing great on this particular trade, but you see the concept of the trade. The concept was that we trade the rejection of the news movement, especially after reading the news. The Bank of Canada was, um, there wasn't a major change in the way the outlook of the economy uh, through the Bank of Canada's eyes. So this any volatility caused by that particular event will cause it not to be sustained, and that was the idea. And we used a 21 SMA to get into the market. Now we got a very late entry. What I've also been doing is I've been tinkering around with another trade plan so that we can get better entries in our uh, reversal trades, wherein I don't expect the market to continue its directional movement. Now I have that, and I've asked Rick to create a trade plan based on that, and that will be available to all subscribers when he has that ready. In fact, Rick took a trade based on this particular news event, combining it with the average true range, and he went at a 25 pip profit, I guess. So that's something which you need to look at in the membership section. But for accounting purposes, we're going to account this as a 10 pip winner on the EuroCAD, and we're going to account it as a 6 pip loser on the USD CAD. Now, coming back to the news, the Dow is adding to yesterday's record high. Look at it right now; it is at 14,285. At last check, it's above 14,285. It was above 14,300 for a brief moments. Um, Now, other indexes, uh, save the Nasdaq, were also in the green. Now, what was fueling the rally? Well, basically, nothing in particular. The ADP payroll report, which says the private employers added 198,000 jobs last month. So this is what New York Times writes. Is it too late for investors to join the party? Now, this is what's my own observation. You look at this circle out here. This is where we are currently. We are making new highs. We've instead of this circle, I think we are at this particular second circle. We're making new highs, and what's I believe will happen is we'll continue to make new highs, which is based on gas, not based on real sustained growth. And we will make a new highs. We'll have a flash crash, all right, and then the market's going to continue to go up. We'll have a crash again. The market will beat those highs, and then we'll have a fall. So it's going to take 2 to 3 false down movements before we call a short on the market. Right now, if I have to bet my money on it, I'm calling for longs on the Dow, even though I know that the Dow is going high based on not on real substance but on free money floating around in the market, which is not sustainable. Now, this basically, like I mentioned yesterday, it's a game of musical chairs. Right now, the music is playing, and they want the suckers, that's the small investors, to come into the market. And right now, they might be a bit wary. So it is going to go higher and higher and higher and higher. And then we'd have a flash crash. People will get worried, and then it'll go again higher and higher, higher and higher. We'll have another false move down. It'll go higher and higher, and then is when the smart money is going to offload all its crappy investments to the middle guys. So that's something which I want you to be aware of. Now, in other news, Venezuela's Chavez dies after a battle with cancer. Uh, the Venezuelan president Hugo Chavez died at the age of 58 after battling with cancer for nearly 2 years. The social welfare program he championed has reduced illiteracy and poverty rate, which is at 20%, down from 80% in 1990. Now, business interests in the US and Venezuela were critical of his nationalization of energy, telecommunications, and banking companies, as well as more than 1 million acres of farmland. Now, the oil industry closely watches developments in Venezuela. The death of Hugo Chavez could pave the way for foreign oil companies to return to Venezuela, energy industry analyst and executive said. If that happens, ExxonMobil and ConocoPhillips, which left after Venezuela nationalized its oil industry, could be big winners in this particular trade. Okay, another very important piece of information I want to share with you now. The SEC shares expertise with FBI on algorithmic trading. Now, examiners at the US Securities and Exchange Commission, who specialize in computerized trading strategies, have started sharing their expertise with the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Now, this launched in 2011. The Quantitative Analytical Unit is housed within the SEC's Office of Compliance, Inspections and Examinations. It's staffed by computer trading experts and math gurus who help gather data, identify risks, and target uh, examinations of investments advisors for hedge funds and other funds. Now, our quantitative analytical unit consists of specialized examiners with PhDs and extensive backgrounds in mathematics, physics, and computer science, said the SEC spokesman Kevin. Now, they play a key role in examination of most sophisticated algorithmic trading firms and other investment advisors. The unit shares its expertise in this area with other regulatory agencies and participants in conferences to increase the dialogue with the financial firms and other regulators. Now, the FBI spokesperson did not respond to requests for a comment, though. This is basically news from Reuters. The SEC has been stepping up its scrutiny of algorithmic trading in recent years, especially after the May 6, 2010 flash crash. Now, what was the flash crash? When the Dow plunged 700 points in a mere minutes before it sharply recouped most of its losses. What would have happened in this particular instance? People would have been stopped out and would have been taken out of the market, and uh, people would have lost their entire life savings because of this, because of margin calls on this. Now, in September 2011, Reuters first reported that SEC examiners were asking high-frequency trading firms to hand over details of their trading strategies as a part of its authority to examine financial firms for compliance with US regulation. Now, why did I share this with you is that the FBI is looking into high frequency trading, and high frequency trading can perhaps potentially be made the scapegoat in any political endeavor. There are pros and cons with the high frequency trading. Frequency trading makes the commissions so cheap for the rest of us, but it can also cause these flash crashes. Now, preview for tomorrow. Let me pull this up really quick for you. Like I say in my section out here, there's a red flag tomorrow. We have the UK interest rate statement, and we also have the ECB press conference. We also have the US initial jobless claims. All of them, I'm not going to be trading because their news is overlapping each other. I might be trading the UK interest rate statement, but that's a different ball game altogether. I will not be trading the US initial jobless claims. So UK interest rate, yes, but the jobless claims not. And that's about it. And we'll meet tomorrow then. Thank you. Have a great day, and may God protect us. Bye from now.